Hello, beautiful people of the internet. My name is Connor, and welcome to Retro Rant, a brand new show here on TeamRDW. We are starting today. If you will welcome today's podcast people, we got David.
Yellow.
Say hi, Marcus.
Yeah.
And the great Javi.
Hello.
So let's talk about Retro Rant a little bit. This is a show where we are going to be discussing a topic and a genre each week and what got us started in that genre for the week. Today's show is game, and the genre is shooter games. So we're going to be talking about the things that made us the nerds and the geeks that we are today. So we're going to start off with me, and my first game in the shooter series was actually Halo Combat Evolved back on Xbox 2001. I had a really good friend, also named Connor, who lived across the street in the neighborhood I lived in back when I was in elementary school, who had an Xbox. And I guess his parents didn't know what violent video games were, or didn't care, because at the ripe age of 8 year old, they got him Halo, a first person shooter, which was also co op. So I played the crap out of this game with him. It was the first time in my life I had ever done an all-nighter for a video game. And like back in this day, I was still fairly new to games. Like I had my Game Boy at like 6, but my dad got me my PS2 and I absolutely loved it. It was the big thick guy too at the time.
The
Slim hadn't
Xbox?
even well I was going over my memories of video games
Oh,
because I
okay.
didn't have an Xbox.
Oh,
My
okay.
friend Connor across the street had the Xbox. We
Oh, you
actually had
said you
like
have the PlayStation. Okay. Okay.
yeah, we had this system where like a lot of the kids in the neighborhood each had one console, so we didn't have to buy multiple consoles, and then we just hop over to other people's houses to play games or watch people play games
Right. Okay.
as they come out. Yeah. So Halo was absolutely fantastic. It was the first shooter in my life, and you know what? I feel like Halo's fairly common first shooter for most people. Because what other than arcade games, what shooters were there before that?
I mean, like I know, like a lot of people in our like older than us, their big thing was like my for their first shooters were like GoldenEye. But I feel
Or
like
Yeah,
Doom?
for
GoldenEye,
us, a
Perfect
lot of
Dark.
people like in like the '90s babies, most of us were like we didn't really actually know what shooters were until I guess around when Halo first came out.
Yeah.
So.
Um, Perfect. Oh, Time Splitters and Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Perfect Dark. I have that.
So yeah, Halo was just a absolute amazing game for me and my friend, and I love that it was co-op, so we got to experience it together. And then you had split screen multiplayer, which as people know, I think Halo 2 had its first online multiplayer back on Xbox Live for that. It was a great game. I have a lot of good memories for it, and had an absolute blast. It led me into later in life Call of Duty, which we're going to talk about. But I think it's a solid first game.
So you said that
So
you started with Halo 1, right?
yeah, Halo 1 Combat
So
Evolved.
I don't think they didn't add multiplayer until like 2, or did they have it with 1?
Oh, you know what? I might be tweaking, and I might be confusing my memories of Halo 2. I know I played Halo 1,
Okay.
but you're right. It might be Halo 2 had the multiplayer, and I'm just tweaking right now.
Yeah, cuz I didn't really pay attention like to Halo at all until 3 personally. Cuz I also had like a cousin who like a younger cousin. Like I was probably like freshman in high school at the time. But then I had like a younger cousin who was probably
You know
like
what?
6 or 8, and they were like destroying me in Halo because I did not care about first person shooters at all.
You know what it was? It was Halo 1 Combat Evolved had a LAN like for computer because it also came out on computer. It wasn't just a console. A LAN multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what
Oh yeah, local areas.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
local area.
Mm-hmm.
But it was 2 that first came out with split screen co-op for the storyline. Which Halo co-op, man, Halo co-op storyline was the shit. I played 2, 3, ODST, Reach, and 4.
Were you really paying attention to the story back then, though, or were you
Actually,
just like
yeah,
playing
I
just to play?
was. No, I was legitimately paying attention to the story. I thought it was a really fun, interesting story. Oh, I had a blast with it. So, David,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about your first interaction with with shooters in general, which was Halo 3.
Yeah.
Same series.
So yeah, Halo 3 was my first game I really got into. Or actually, I think Halo was probably like one of my earlier first-person shooters that really interested me. Because like, of course, there was like Call of Duties and stuff like that. But I was like the Nintendo kid, so I grew up with an N64. Never had a PlayStation 2. For sure, didn't care about an Xbox because it was like just some bulky, ugly system. Honestly, for me, like I didn't really care about any of the Xbox games really. Like it was more like anything higher than rated E or T, like I really didn't play. It was mainly because my parents were buying my games for me. Like I had no concept of money, so like whatever they bought me is mainly what I played, really, other than like requesting stuff. But I didn't know I could just like really go to the store and get games that much, really. Um, but as far as being introduced to Halo, like I said, I went to my cousin's house. They had Halo. Um, I was just astounded that their parents even allowed them to just play Halo. I was like, it's so mature. There's guns, Mario. Um, but then like I was really trash at it. Like my little cousin was destroying me. I had no concept of like how to shoot. I didn't know how to move around in a 3D space because I don't think I really played um, games that involved first person movement before. I always play like third person games like Zelda or like Mario games. I didn't even play like Metroid Prime when that came out. I didn't even care about like Metroid at all, so I didn't even have experience with third person games that way. Um, but who made me get Halo actually was I was playing with my friend Brendan and my other friend Javier back when I was in like Taekwondo, and everyone had an Xbox 360 and everyone was playing like Halo 3 custom games and multiplayer. So they convinced me to go to GameStop and get a pre-owned copy and start playing with them. And then once and I didn't care about the story because it was the third game. So like I just started playing multiplayer with them, and that was pretty much how I got into it. Once I started getting used to the controls and stuff, and I was a lot more willing to actually jump into games. That's pretty much when it started clicking for me, really.
Yeah, it's I feel like, especially because Halo's always been, until recent years, like kind of on the front end of shooters.
Hmm.
Just because they were always really coming up with creative and innovative things. Bungie was really good at that. I mean, it shows with oh, I'm totally blanking on the name
Destiny
of
right now?
Destiny. Yeah, yeah, I totally showed it with Destiny.
I keep forgetting that Bungie works Destiny and someone else
Yeah,
has like
three
whatever
four
right
three
now.
games. Three
Yeah.
four three games owns Halo series now, which is still an interesting concept. But it's cool because it's a great way for people to get into shooters. Because unlike things like Call of Duty, because even early Call of Duty multiplayer games got very competitive in the point of like you have to be such the precise shooters, where Halo went on the other side of this creative, fun environment where like yeah, it's still first person shooter, but it's less technical and more just like a blast to play together. You know what I mean? It's a lot of
Hmm.
explosions and aliens and futuristic guns. So a lot of people could get into it. And Halo 3 was, I think, the big introduction with custom games, which was huge back in the day. Like, no one had done that before. Or if they had, I can't speak for all games. If they had it, it didn't really hit home like Halo 3 did. And they continued with it and ODST until Reach. And then Reach with custom map making absolutely blew up.
Yeah, like
I
I
mean,
feel like how we felt with custom games in Halo 3 is how kids feel now with like Fortnite creative mode, basically.
what's interesting to me though is like Halo as a series didn't just develop shooters and develop creative modes and game types like that, but it made companies. There's a whole company called Rooster Teeth that started with a series
Oh
making
yeah, Red
in
versus Blue.
Halo. Yeah, Red vs. Blue that makes
Dude, Red
video
versus
games
Blue
now and
was
makes their own.
the shit back then, bro. Red
It
versus Blue was
blew.
so huge.
Oh, it was huge for the longest
Like, Javi,
time.
did you guys watch Red versus Blue? I feel like every like middle school
My
kid watched
favorite
Red versus
episode.
Blue.
My favorite episode is "Don't Fear the Reaper," where the tank becomes sentient and starts trying to kill everyone.
I love that episode.
And you hear his firing main cannon. Shit!
Yeah.
Firing main cannon. Damn it!
It was honestly wild, like how they ended up doing Red versus Blue. It was all like in-game replays, I think, or something, or they actually
Yeah,
just.
so it was called it was early day capture cards.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
was super like first gen capture cards. that everyone was using to make different type of video game theater shows.
Mm-hmm.
Back when
Um,
machinima was a thing.
yeah, back when
Yeah,
machinima was
machinima.
huge. Holy crap! So it's Halo's just got such a really cool history behind it that's made a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Speaking of which, we are going to talk about Halo Reach for a little bit because I know pretty much all of us played that, right?
Yeah, I play
No.
Halo Reach. I play
Yeah.
Halo Reach.
Halo Reach was the big thing because of custom map making. And it wasn't just like, okay, we're going to make maps and then you're going to play a shooter game in there. No. People got creative with game types. There was bumper cars. There was dodgeball with grenades. There was a whole series made off of playing like horse with different course maps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was insane the amount of creativity that went behind that one single game.
Yeah, Forge World was OP.
Yeah, Forge World was OP. I made so many maps on Forge World. I think my favorite of all times was a zombie game type
Mm-hmm.
with a maze that darkened after you found your hiding spot, and so it made it hard for everyone else to see but the zombie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a fun
Mars,
game
did you
type.
say you didn't play Halo Reach?
No,
Oh,
I was
Oh,
never
what?
an Xbox person.
you said you weren't what?
I was never like an Xbox kid. Like my
Oh.
friends had them, but like it wasn't me.
Interesting. Okay. Well, it's speaking of like the Xbox versus Switch, Nintendo versus PlayStation and Sony. I've always been bouncing forth between all the consoles. Like I've had an Xbox 360, I had the PS2, I'm on PS4 now. I'm probably buying the PS5. I have the Switch. It's kind of crazy, like how many games you can get between all the consoles too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I was, like I
but
said, I was primarily a Nintendo kid, so I didn't really have too many different consoles. Like, as soon as, like, the main reason I got my Xbox was because I wanted to play Sonic Unleashed on Xbox 360 because the Wii version was trash. Like, I,
I
I didn't
got
even get my Xbox because I wanted, like, a rated M game. It just opened up the doors for me to play other games.
You know what? There was another shooter that actually is what made me want to get my Xbox. My stepbrother had an Xbox 360 and was playing Fallout 3. I tried it. I fell in love with it, so I asked for an Xbox 360 and Fallout for my birthday.
Hmm.
Oh god, the crazy map building. I'm sorry, I just kind of got caught up looking at the Reach videos and just like all the memories flooding back in my head. I
Mm-hmm.
spent my whole middle school, like I think it was 8th grade. No, yeah, it's 8th grade. 8th grade. That entire summer, I spent sleeping on my big giant beanbag chair that my parents got for my 16th birthday that or no 14th birthday that year, and waking up and then just playing like 10 hours of Halo Reach with my.
Time was simpler then.
Yeah, time was simpler then.
Obviously, is that you had an honorable mention for Halo? Like, what was
Yeah.
your experience with it?
I have a neighbor who was like really, really into Xbox, and he had Halo. He had all the Halo games, but I would always go over to his house and play Halo with him, and we would always do like rocket launcher stuff.
The rocket launcher
Just
stuff was the best stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
And then, but we also did that. But I'll talk about the other games on my part.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to finish off, Halo is a series. Unfortunately, fall off a little bit. Just to kind of go finish down that path. So 4, like the story was okay and the multiplayer was okay. So I think really Halo reached their peak at Reach, which
Halo
I think,
reached their peak.
which, and I think that's because that was the last one that Bungie did. Bungie
Yeah.
gave it over to 343, to start Destiny.
But also, it
So
seemed
I-
like, well, for me, like I said, I didn't really care too much about the story of Halo. But to me, it seemed like the story actually ended after 3, and then Reach was a prequel. So it seems like they didn't really have anything else to really do, especially in terms of Master Chief. For me, like I stopped caring about the story, which is why I stopped playing Halo, honestly. But also, I think when Halo 4 came out, it was on Xbox One, so I for sure didn't have an Xbox One, so I just didn't play that Halo. So that the console is what made me stop playing the series for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same. I didn't have a 1, so I didn't really play through 4 and 5. I watched playthroughs because playing through the series, I got a little bit invested. I didn't really pay attention to like ODST or Reach's storyline in the sense that like it stuck with me. I played through every single campaign. And I played through every single campaign multiple times because I would do like the achievement hunting back in the day. But it was definitely one of those things that after Master Chief kind of left the scene, I was like, okay, I don't really care anymore. This is the guy I was following because Master Chief's such a badass man. Except he can't fucking swim. Okay, so we're gonna move on from here. So Javi, let's talk about Time Crisis 2. Now I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't know what this game is. I've
You
never
ever
heard of
seen
it.
before?
Nope.
Bro,
Or at
You've
least it
seen
doesn't
it
have a good
before.
memory in my head.
You've seen
I
it.
know probably.
Someone has to
I've
you need to look up a picture of a Time Crisis machine.
if you've
seen a
ever
Time
been in
Crisis
an
machine.
arcade, you have
See,
seen
that's the thing.
Time Crisis 2.
I didn't really grow up in arcades. That was the thing. My parents didn't take me to arcades because I have a little sister. So if we were gonna do something and go somewhere, it had to be something that everyone wanted to do. So my
Right.
video game history is home console.
Okay. Have you been to the Emporium
Yes,
in Logan Square?
yes,
You know the gun game that's there?
vaguely.
All right. Well, next time you go there in like 3 years,
Play it.
it's Time Crisis.
I
Yeah,
said it 3.
It's only
3 years. No, so Time Crisis is an arcade game. It is on PlayStation. You can get it on PlayStation 2. They have another version, like a future one on like PlayStation 3. But it's kind of like you basically point at the screen and shoot people. But there's a mechanic where you have to hide, and you press this pedal, and when you press the pedal, you are able to reveal yourself and shoot the enemies, and then you can go back into hiding and like reload and stuff. And you keep doing that, and you can't move around. You have to just shoot what's on the screen, and then once you're done, the game will progress you. And it's really fun. It's kind of like, have you played House of the Dead?
No.
Okay, House of the Dead is also the same way. Except House of the Dead is actually, in my opinion, much more hard, much more difficult. Well, like, because the way that works is the zombies go towards you, and they'll just keep hitting you until you kill them. Like, at least sometimes for Time Crisis, there's like a timeout, but like for the zombies in House of the Dead, they're like, oh, we just gonna slice you till you die. And if you don't get a headshot, you're gonna shoot us 6 times, and you're gonna have to reload, because we're zombies.
Well, I have a question.
What's up?
So for arcade shooters, right? It's clearly stages because I do have a little bit of history with arc. So do you to like quote unquote beat the game to see the full game? Do you just have to keep paying over and over? Because obviously there's time limits, right?
Yeah, dude, these are OG quarter stealers.
Yeah.
So you might have to put in more money, or you could just be really good and not get hit at all.
Okay, so this is one of the ones where there's not really a time limit; it's just a life limit. If you
there is a time limit and a life limit, and the only way the time limit doesn't go out is if you kill people within a certain time for the time to go up consistently. Because you'll gain more time as you beat people.
Okay, I got
like you got to do it within that time.
Because like the one arcade machine for shooters that I actually have like a lot of experience with is Terminator. I don't know which generation of Terminator.
Same thing.
But so like that one, I guess I sucked at it because I kept having to pay to progress through that game.
It was probably like Terminator, like Rise of the Machines, like Terminator 3.
It might have been Salvation.
Terminator Salvation was actually really fun, dude. I played that a lot on the PS2.
It was a fun shooter. The only reason that is because in middle school I lived a walk away from a really nice movie theater that had an arcade section. So like if me and my friend Matt were bored, we'd just like go take our quarters, go watch a movie, and then play arcade games.
Yeah, man. It's those types of games, like Also, another game that's really old, Carnival.
Oh, bro,
If
I
anyone's
remember
ever heard of that.
Carnival.
Carnival,
Never
you're
heard of it.
basically like you got a shotgun and you're basically in like a haunted zombie like carnival.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen
Shooting,
play of that. I've
shooting all
never
these
played
zombie
it,
clowns in the face.
but I've
Yeah.
seen videos of it before. Like I know the game you guys are talking about.
Another game that is also really fun, and this one I found out a little bit more recently. LA Machine Gun, at Galloping Ghost. It's the one that's like really loud and it's in the back right next to the Arctic Thunder and like the back room in Galloping Ghost, but it's really loud and all you hear is like as soon as you play the game.
Yeah, I can't
Damn.
think of what that one looks like. But I remember
Look
it
Carnival,
up.
Carnival though.
It's insane.
Honestly, like
though.
a whole bunch of these like classic arcade games are games that are burned into like our memory, but like you might not remember it until you actually see
Yeah.
the machine.
Yeah, because I feel like I've probably played a couple of like arcade games that I'll never remember until I see it again and be like, "Oh my god, it's the game!"
Mhm.
If there's something if there's a machine that I spent more money on than DDR, it was likely Time Crisis 2 and 3.
Damn.
And I've spent a lot of
Coos,
money
thank
on
you for the
DDR.
follow, shout out.
Thanks.
Um,
Thanks for the follow.
But aside from those, another type of arcade game like genre for shooters is bullet hells, otherwise
Yeah.
known as Don Mox. So a lot of people know like bullet hells from Toho. And if you don't know about Toho, it's basically like witches and magical girls and a bunch of bullets being thrown at you. It's kind of fucking scary. But
Yeah.
one game that I was really into, like growing up, was this game called Dodonpachi, which is, if I remember, it's the right one, because they were all made by, I believe this one was made by a developing team called Treasure. This one is like giant robo bees and like robo bugs.
What?
I
And
remember.
Oh.
they're like shooting the crap out of everything,
This
and
looks
you're like,
very
all right.
familiar. But
Oh
also,
my
like,
God,
a lot
wait,
of
is this Dodo
bullet hell
Pod-
games look very
Wait,
Yeah.
familiar.
hold up. Time out. Pause.
Oh, so you know
Yeah,
this
I
one.
know this arcade game.
Yeah.
Holy shit! That's
It's a
the name of this
classic.
game.
Yeah,
Okay, time out.
Dodonpachi.
I got a story to tell you. Back in
Alright, let's hear it.
kindergarten, I was in daycare.
Okay.
And it was at this church. It's because my mom, had to work after my parents divorced, blah blah blah. But I played a game with a friend, and it was a bullet hell space shooter that we absolutely loved, and it was free to play because it was at this church, so we didn't have to pay money, so we could progress as much as we want. And for years after that, I could never remember what the game was at
Yeah.
all. And this is the game. This is the game. I'm sorry. I'm so ecstatic right now. I've been trying to
Yeah,
find the
dude.
name. I've been trying to find the name for this game forever.
Yeah, it's you can get it on Steam. It's at Galloping Ghost. Thank God. I was like, I'm really happy that it's there.
Oh my god! I need to go to Galloping Ghost. I need to play this game.
Um,
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. Like that was like the first thing that I really did when I went to Galloping Ghost. I was really into the bullet hells. Like I got to play Ikaruga there, and I was just like so happy.
Where's Galloping Ghost at?
It's in Brookfield.
Dude, we need to plan a trip. I need to go and play this.
For
Yeah,
sure.
3 years, man. 3 years.
3 years.
What else? Conker's Bad Fur Day. That's a shooter. That's technically a shooter.
You said Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Conker's Bad Fur Day is
But did
technically
you
a
not go
shooter.
to
Oh,
arcade?
you mean the multiplayer
Oh.
mode that jank ass
Yes.
multiplayer?
But also,
Yeah.
I didn't put this in the note. But this is, I guess, I'll make this the last thing. Okay, second to last thing. I played Perfect Dark. I played GoldenEye. I grew up on those. I played 007 Agent Under Fire. I was really into the 007 series, but I also
like-
started off of. What's up?
I did like 007 series. I had a couple for the PS2.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And then also Call of Duty 3.
was dope.
That was the first Call of Duty that I played. But the one game that we all apparently forgot, BioShock.
Oh shit! You're right. I
BioShock
didn't even.
is a first-person shooter.
It is like that with the Fallout. I didn't put it in, but I mentioned Fallout 3 earlier, which is another shooter. But it's in the shooter RPG series.
Yeah, and BioShock was the first time because when that game came out, I didn't have a PS3 at the time, and then when I finally got a PS3, it was my first experience to a first-person shooter like that,
Hmm.
and it was the most surreal experience that I had at that time. Like it was really scary. BioShock
Oh.
scares me.
Oh, it
Bioshock,
scared the
yeah,
crap
Bioshock
out of
did
me.
scare me. Like I,
Oh my
BioShock scares me, bro.
the opening scene with just because I actually just recently before all the games came out in March because they gave the Bioshock collection out for free on PS4.
Yes.
Went through all the games, so I played 1, 2, 3, and Infinite real quickly because they're not long games. But
Mhm.
even now, I remember flashbacks of the opening scene of Bioshock 1 where that Ripper comes right at you.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me, and that was the start of the game.
I remember
Houdini still
seeing
scare me.
like a CG trailer for Bioshock, where it was like you were the first, you're doing that, you were the guy in first person, and he was trying to
Jack?
kill, I guess, a big. Oh, he was trying to get to one of the girls,
Little
and
sister.
yeah, one of the little sisters, and it was like talking to a big daddy, but then I guess the dude fucked up somehow. He had like the bees or something, the injection with the bees,
Oh
and then
yeah.
he like shot it at the big daddy, and then the big daddy like ran away. But it was so gross, dude, because like I said, I don't do rated M games. I was a Nintendo kid, so like this whole visual of this whole area that was so like dark and like murky, and it was like these crazy ass blood soaked people, and like oh my god, the big daddy just scared the
Oh,
shit out of me, bro. Like the scene oh my god,
what a
like the
truly
big
terrifying.
daddy's drilling you, like
Yeah.
was disgusting. Like I could not deal with that shit. I could not play that game.
Oh, it's
So
greatness. I
gross.
love Bioshock.
Yeah.
There's talks that we might be getting a new Bioshock.
Really?
I heard,
Yeah,
but also
they've been
like,
dropping
yeah.
so much Bioshock lately that it's like, are they hyping us for something? I would love that. But yeah, Bioshock, great freaking first person shooter game, and I don't know if I would count You know what? I think I would count Bioshock as my intro to first person shooter RPGs.
Just action adventure games.
Yeah, it's action adventure games. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna move on, and we're gonna get to Marcus. Hi, Marcus. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Why don't you talk to us about Perfect Dark?
See, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, right?
I'm like,
I don't, I don't remember shit about Perfect Dark story. All I know is I used to go to my friend's house after school, like all the time, since he lived down the street from like me and the school, and like we would just play that like nonstop.
like just the multiplayer, or you were just playing like the.
Like split screen.
Oh, okay, yeah, split
Split
screen
screen,
multiplayer. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this gameplay. This shit looks sluggish as hell, bro.
I
It
know,
looks
right?
Yo, it has
Perfect
not
Dark
aged
is
well.
rough.
And it's not aged well.
It has not.
Perfect Dark is so rough.
Wasn't it
Yes.
originally a N64 game, and then they remade,
Yeah.
then it got a sequel on Xbox 360 or
Perfect Dark
Xbox?
Zero.
Wait, this isn't a PS2 game. This is an Xbox 360 game.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is-
Xbox 360.
It was like one of the early ones, one of like the first three.
If
Okay,
you guys
so
want to
like,
play the original Perfect Dark, I got it.
ooh, nice.
It's just. It's
I still gotta get.
disgusting.
I still gotta grab Bravely Default from you in your DS.
This game was
Mm.
gross. Oh, these visuals are so nasty.
Oh my
Ugh.
god.
See-
So really, your fond memory of it is just like going to your friend's house and shooting up people and on the storyline.
Enjoying the jank because you don't know
Enjoying
any
the
better.
But like, here's the question: back in the day, this didn't feel like jank to us.
It
Like
did.
I would,
These graphics were next level. They were so
and
realistic.
at the day, it felt like I could see middle school me seeing this, be like, oh my god, this is amazing.
This is so nasty.
We're so spoiled with the graphics we have now.
We aren't spoiled. The kids that are born after 2000 are spoiled.
That's true.
Kids that were born in 2000. Yeah, 2000. Yeah.
man.
Okay, so we're actually going to use Marcus to launch in our next kind of series of games that we're going to talk about, which is Call of Duty. Which I think if you were not in Halo Reach, you were probably playing.
You were one of two people. You were a Halo
Yeah.
kid or you were a Call of Duty kid.
No,
Yeah,
no,
well-
I was a Warhawk kid. PlayStation
who?
3. Let's get it. Oh,
What?
you don't know about Warhawk?
Whoa! What's
What?
Warhawk?
When the PlayStation 3 first came out.
Oh wait,
When the
wait.
PlayStation 3
Is that
first
the
came-
game where it's like you can
You
get
can
inside of
you can do
mechs?
dog fights. You can do dog fights, and you can do just like regular shoots.
I
like
think
regular,
I think
just,
I
like, shoot
know
'em up.
I know Starhawk, which was the sequel, but I think I remember Warhawk. They were talking about
Warhawk
It was like a really
came
I
out in
think I remember that.
2007. Bro, that game was good.
Damn.
That was one of the best shooters I've played, and it was so
Niche.
fucking stupid.
Ugh.
I love that game.
So yeah, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was one of my favorite shooters
God,
other than
Modern Warfare
Halo.
2.
Oh my god. Fucking Rust. Dude,
1v1 me on Rust.
Rust
Huh?
1v 1v. Oh my god, so many. I spent so much time on fucking Rust. Yeah, so Call of Duty is the I would say, even though Halo and Call of Duty compete because they're both first person shooters, in my opinion they're on kind of opposite end of things. Where Halo strive to be this fun creative type of first person shooter game, which still had its technicals, it was still a first person shooter at its core. Call of Duty was a first person shooter, and that's all they had going for it. How do we make a first person shooter feel more stressful? How do we make a first person shooter feel more realistic? And then how do we make a realistic first person shooter try to be Halo? That was their lineage. But I think Modern Warfare was great. I played the crap out of 2 with all my buddies. And then, it went into Black Ops, which gave us zombies on top of really fun guns and really fun game types and all the different perks and just competitive play, which Black Ops was actually the first and only time I've ever joined a clan for an online game. Which was kind of crazy because I'd have to explain to my parents, like, hey, can you stop vacuuming? I'm trying to have a clan meeting right now.
Oh my god.
What?
I could see that being yeah. Sounds about right, considering how much they use the hard ER online. They could just smell you were a black person on the mic, I swear. They just knew.
Never forget.
Oh,
Yo, you
God.
Say one word. It smells like fried chicken.
Oh god. Honestly, I had a blast with it. Marcus, how did you enjoy Modern Warfare?
I played that game nonstop. It
Nice.
was, if I wasn't playing that, I was playing Street Fighter, I think 4.
Street
And if
Fighter
I
4
wasn't playing-
came around that time, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and if I wasn't playing Street Fighter, I was playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, freaking Call of Duty. Like I said, I didn't care about the series, but I remember all the hype that came around when Modern Warfare 2 were a thing. I think I remember being at a Best Buy around the launch of the game, and I remember seeing all the standees, all the all the promotional material that they had in the gaming section, like all over. They're like, come into Best Buy and play a demo of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. They were having tournaments scheduled at GameStops and stuff for like midnight release. Like it was such a big deal, and I did not relate. I was just like, I don't get it. It's just a shooter. Okay, whatever.
But when Brawl came out, though,
When Brawl came out, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
yeah.
But I remember like people also were talking about like just the graphics, because I think this is when they really started getting into like
Yeah,
this was a big graphical jump game, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah.
it was because that was like their selling point for the longest time, was we have the best graphics for a shooter, and it's the fastest shooter there is, and it's got the newest technology in shooters, which
Yeah.
then more and more companies
The
came
real
out with
doing
more.
Dorito days.
Oh my god. That's not even a joke. I remember all like the Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Black Ops 2, and
Sweaties.
literal sweat. Oh, and I was one of them back in middle school. That was the
Disgusting.
worst part. I was switching between Modern Warfare, Battlefield 2, and Halo.
But were you guys good
entire-
at Call of Duty though? That's the question. Marcus, were you ranked? Were you in a clan? Were you
I
ranked?
was ranked.
Wait, were clans in Modern
Yeah,
Warfare 2?
there were clans.
There was clans in 2, but the competitive play really hit in Black Ops.
Yeah, Black Ops, I was in a clan.
No. There were clans in 2, though. There was competitive play. It just wasn't as not advent, but Oh, Black Ops gave you incentive to do competitive because that's when you started unlocking more and more weapon customizations
Mm-hmm.
through doing the stuff online. So it gave you more like incentive to do it.
Chat says Call of Duty was the pinnacle of multiplayer first-person shooters.
Yeah, it really was, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say
Um,
that. Yeah.
because it was if you weren't if you liked first person shooters and you weren't playing Call of Duty, you were doing custom games on Reach at this time,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
that
think
was just
like one of the main things with me was I didn't like Call of Duty that much because it was too realistic. Like I don't like I never really it was like this and also like freaking Battlefield. Like they were just like realistic shooters and I think was Modern Warfare's thing its own story or was it based off of an actual war? Because I was just like this
I
is
think
like
it was its own
not
mission.
interesting.
I think it was its own mission. Wasn't
Yeah.
based off of a real war.
Yeah,
It
but
was his own thing, but it wanted it as close to real life.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cause yeah, like I wasn't really into like the realism of it. Like that's why I kind of like Halo more, cause it was more like aliens and fake
Yeah.
guns and like give me a needler, don't give me
Yeah,
a freaking AK, like give me stuff like that. But also wasn't this the game that had the no Russian thing with the
No
airport?
Russian, baby.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember the
Yeah.
news reports.
Mow down everybody.
I remember
Yeah.
when No Russian was a thing, like maybe not a week after the game came out, everybody was freaking out on the news. G4, they were talking about it on their shows because they were talking about there's this mission where you go in and like it was like it had something to do with the plot or was it actually a reason
No,
they
it was
had
a
to
mission.
do that?
Yeah, it was well.
Because they shot up, they basically they went through and they just swept an airport, just shooting down everyone in the airport.
Yeah.
You were supposed to blend in with them.
Yeah, you were supposed to blend in, but then it gets hectic and you just kind of fire and everything.
Oh jeez, yeah.
Yeah, and that was at the
end of the
time of
mission?
violent video games. Cough,
Mhm.
cough.
Basically.
Yeah, that's right. Shuriken's like games can't do that nowadays. I'm like, no, they would get blacklisted hard.
Yeah, and I don't think the game's really done anything that drastic since then. I think Call of Duty. I think the current Call of Duty, like you can, like you actually, it's really realistic. You can like shoot a baby, but you fail the mission if you do that though. So.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, they'll like stop it and they'll be like, really?
Like you really shot that.
And I'm like, why would you entertain that in the first place? Like, hello.
Mm-hmm.
They were setting you up in my place. Well,
Army Dash at the baby.
so we're actually going to move on from the Call of Duty series here, and we're going to go into kind of what we were talking about earlier, which is a different genre of shooters, which is first-person RPGs, like I like to call them, or action, action RPGs.
Action adventure genre.
Yeah, action adventure. But Borderlands is a fantastic series. It is I don't know if it's the original looter shooter, but it is the
It's for
great
sure
time.
That's the pinnacle of looter shooter.
Yeah, it is the pinnacle of looter shooters. And 1 was great, but 2 just destroyed everything.
Oh, 2 was
Border-
fantastic.
2 was fucking fantastic.
From the original game to all the DLC.
Honestly, everything was solid. It was, and I played that game
Wonderful.
so freaking much. I say this, but there are like few games that I really put hundreds of hours in. I could probably count on both hands the amount of games that I've actually put more than 60 hours into. And Borderlands 2 is up there in like 200 or 300 hours with how many playthroughs. Because it wasn't even like all at once. I've gone back before Borderlands 3 came out. I went back because they had it for free on the PS4 and replayed it with all the DLC again. It's Borderlands 2 is a fantastic, fun shooter game that's an action RPG, action adventure game. That's just got really funny writing to it. Actually, pretty dope storyline that
The
continues
writing was
into
really
3.
funny back in like early, like mid high school, late middle school. Some people say the writing hasn't really changed at all. Some people say the writing's still pretty like immature at times.
Yeah.
What is
Three dialed back a little bit, but I mean they're still gonna make poop jokes and dick jokes. Like they're not gonna stop. That's kind of the basis of the game.
Yeah. I know, like so for me in Borderlands, like I always loved the art style, I love the aesthetic of Borderlands, but like for me, like it was really weird with me in Borderlands because it was like either I play the game local multiplayer with somebody and
Which
I'm
I
just
did.
like playing with somebody from the beginning, or I play, or it was how it was for me was me and my friends we all picked up the game around the same time, but then it's like um some people will play more than others and get over
Yeah.
leveled and end up moving way past someone else, and then like I would be behind, and then my friends would be like way higher level than me, and it'd be like they just have to go back and just help me, but they just be killing everything in like one shot or whatever. So I was just like, yeah, if I like miss a couple days, I'm just gonna like play by myself. So I just never
Yeah,
really
I
experienced playing through like a whole Borderlands game like with anybody. Even though Marcus a couple
yeah.
times has been like, "Bro, I'll start over. I don't give a fuck." But I'm just like, yeah, like the series is like not super huge for me. So
Definitely huge for me. I actually bought Borderlands 3, the $100 edition steelbook, for all the DLC, which is funny because after the first DLC came out, I started playing Pokemon, and Pokemon took over my life. So I haven't actually picked up Borderlands since the first DLC dropped, like November, and the second one's already on its way. So I need to pick that back up again. I will say, Borderlands 3 did not. I don't think
Hit
it
or
delivered
miss.
as well. I don't think it delivered as well.
It did.
I think our expectations from Borderlands 2 was so high, they just for some reason missed it.
When you peak in the middle.
Yeah, which is sad because Borderlands 2 is a great game. I have actually my best friend Wesley is kind of how we really bonded. We were good friends prior to that via Magic and just like hang out with each other. But then he had some crap stuff happen in his life. He had to move in with my family, and he brought his Xbox and he brought Borderlands 2, and I'd never played it before up till that point because I actually played Borderlands 2 then Borderlands 1, which is really weird to go from. Still
Yeah.
fun though. But and for like 3 weeks straight, all we did was play Borderlands and just burst through. And we did the whole like played through it once with all the DLC, then went into true Vault Hunter mode and played through it again with all the DLC.
yeah, that game was like really highly replayable because you would play with like all the different characters. Yeah.
Well, it's not just the characters; it's also the level system. Because when you play through it once, you're not max level yet. So really, you're not playing storyline. You're playing for feeling the differences in the battles and like feeling what level 72 felt like, which is crazy. It gets so difficult, and it's just action packed and it's a blast.
One of the main things I got out of Borderlands as a third party who never really cared about the series, all of the who's the
Exactly.
Mad Moxie, all the Mad
Yeah.
Moxie cosplayers at
Yeah.
ASIN and stuff. I was just like, yo,
Best content.
Bad
yeah. So that's and also the
They downgraded her
all
boobs
the
in
Wonder
3.
characters
Awesome.
in the series too.
They downgraded her boobs in 3, and we were all mad.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was just like, dang. Or just yeah.
I agree. RE3 shouldn't be $60.
Oh, don't get me started on that shit. I wanted, bro.
There are some people who
I
talk to me
finished that
about-
game and immediately said, I want a fucking refund. I was like, that was a six.
It's just like don't
It's-
even get me started.
It's just I looked at it and I saw some playthrough. I'm like, is this really a $60 game? Like, people say they already beat it and it came out yesterday.
You can beat the game in 6 hours. I saw someone beat it in 6
That's
hours.
so sad.
Bitch can't even
I know.
swim.
I get
I
it's,
beat it
it's one of
in
those
10.
games
That's
to
only
replay to
because
get
I was
content,
wanting to play.
but damn, I don't know, man. I have a policy. If I'm gonna pay $60 for a game, I want 60 hours of content minimum.
That's a bit of a
I
stretch.
mean, you got to think about that back in like I don't know Nintendo 64 era.
Okay, but they
I
weren't
don't know how
$60 games in 64.
No. Have you seen a picture of a Toys R Us? Have you
They
seen a picture
were-
of a
they
Toys
were
R
the
Us?
I
same
remember
price.
when games were $30. I remember they
Mario
were 15 too.
64 day one retail was like $70.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Yes.
Yes.
A
Yeah,
Game Boy
but
Color
Mario
game was
64,
like $50.
Mario 64,
Like-
Mario 64 had replayability in the sense that if you really wanted to, you could go through that game 4 or 5 times and still enjoy it. Like, yeah, RE3 you could go through on all the different modes, but even then, are you still going to get like 60 hours out of that?
If you play the game enough, the way that the old Resident Evil games were, as well as many Konami games and not Konami, many like actually I could say Konami too, Konami and Capcom. Because I know Zone of the Enders does the same thing. What they will do is you play through the game. You will be timed on how long it takes for you to beat it. They will even detect how many times you save. They will detect how many times you die, and then you get a ranking on that. And the point of the game is to get so good to the point where you get S ranks, and then you get cool stuff.
Oh, so you're
Okay,
basically
but
getting
see,
ranked on like
that's where I
speedruns
had
and stuff.
taken because you're still getting hours and hours of content there. I'm not saying base game has to be 60 hours. I'm not saying the storyline has to be 60 hours. What I'm saying is, for me personally, when I purchase a game, I want to know that I'm going to be able to play it enjoyably for at least 60 hours, even if it
Then
means
do
replaying the
that.
game.
Then do that because
Yeah.
Resident Evil does the same thing as Zone of the Enders does. They're both the same concept.
Yeah, but I guess for me personally, I'm not a big RE fan.
Well, that's
I never
different
really got
from
you
what we're
got.
talking about.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, first-person action games. I played
Yeah.
Far Cry 3. That was my first.
Yeah.
delve
Far Cry was a
into,
great series.
Okay, everyone's played Far Cry 3, but has anyone ever touched 2?
No one talks about the first
That's
two.
first two.
Yo!
No one talks about the first two Far Cry
I have never
Yo!
played
because
Far
they
Cry.
were
I remember
trash.
on
I don't
PS3
know.
they gave 2 out for on fucking Plus. Me and my friend hopped on it. That motherfucker was rough.
Far Cry, Far Cry 1 and 2 were disgusting. Far Cry 3
Oh
was
god.
pretty lit. I don't even know why I even picked up Far Cry 3.
Was
Like, I don't
4?
even remember
I
what
never
drove
played
me to
4
get
or
it.
5. I just played 3.
I think maybe I saw something on it about on a G4 show or something. Maybe I saw a review. But I don't remember what got me to pick up Far Cry 3, but I know when I played it, I fucking love that game, bro. That was my first time ever playing a game that was on the realistic side of things. Like I said, I played Halo and stuff, so I didn't really play games where like people. Um, but and also like a game where you're just exploring. Like I think that was also probably like one of my first person open world games too.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it was. So the story was good. It was basically like you're just this dude who's with this white dude who's with his white friends on a boat and then on some tropical island.
His white
And then
friends, his girlfriend.
yeah,
Damn.
his rich friends on a boat near tropical island, and then you all get kidnapped. You get out, and then you have to rescue your friends over the course of the game. You can also freaking you can like set up like this was like I think the game that gave Ubisoft the push in the direction for a lot of their games nowadays, which is
Unfortunately.
a lot of their games, which is hey, here's some stuff on the map. Here's some side quests. Hey, you want to see the rest of the map? Get to the highest point in this area and look. All right, now go do that to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Oh, and also like clear these points with a whole bunch of enemies. Make sure no one trips the alarm. If they do, you'll be there for like an extra 10-15 minutes. Maybe you'll die. I have to do it again. But the game was fun as hell, though. Not gonna lie, the game was fun as fuck. So
Yeah.
it was really good. That game was amazing. The online was bad, though. Online was bad.
Nah, it was alright.
They just want your money.
Like, hey, go use
sure.
Ubisoft. It's not my fault that Far Cry 4 was the same thing as 3, but better. But then Far Cry 5 was the same thing, but not in...
As good.
The Far Cry 5 was the same thing. That's what the issue with Far Cry 5 was.
So which
Yeah.
Far
I
Cry
would say
should
4
I
was
play?
better than 3.
3. You
I
should
mean,
play
I'd
3.
say now just play 4.
I'm gonna play Blood Dragon. Gotcha.
Blood Dragon was
Dragon.
so good! Blood Dragon was so
It was
good!
so good.
It was literally just 80s aesthetic Far Cry. It was the silliest shit.
It
They
was so
had-
silly.
There was I think it was a Mecha Komodo dragon that could breathe lasers.
Yes.
It was
It
so
could breathe
clean.
lasers. It was just silly. You know what it felt like? It felt like Far Cry trying to be Saints Row 5.
It was a whole meme. It was amazing.
Blood Dragon was the game that made me trade in my PS3.
You said it made you. Was it not on
Yes.
PS3?
No, it was on PS3, but the thing was, for some reason, like I could play any other game
But
on
Blood
my
Dragon?
PS3 just fine. I would try to play Blood Dragon, it would like force close it like within the first 5 minutes.
Oh, like it
Damn.
wasn't able to keep up.
Like
to
I was
the game.
already barely playing my PS3 at this point, and then when they was like, Plus was like, here's Blood Dragon. I'm like, oh shit, time to turn this piece of shit on. And then it was like, psych, Not today.
Hmm.
Damn.
So you had to like
That
upgrade your
sucks.
PS3, or you just got an Xbox?
No, I guess played on someone else's PS3.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I legit cried that day.
damn. Damn. That
The
feels
fact
bad.
that like this game also introduced like so many things that are so popular in like first person games nowadays, where it's just the whole highlight system, like there's a whole bunch of enemies you can sneak up on them, where you can do this like freaking haphazardly, like sneaking up onto a base, highlighting where all the enemies are, seeing a tiger in a cage and releasing the tiger and watching the tiger kill everybody was the hypest shit. It
Yeah.
was so good. And then they
Yeah.
just started adding more and more intense animals in the next game. I think like 5 has a bear. I think a bear named Cheeseburger. I think. Anyway,
Really? Holy crap.
Oh, it does actually. Yeah.
yeah.
Damn.
But,
Well, do we
yeah.
have any more honorable mentions in the shooter genre?
Team Fortress 2, easy.
Ooh.
You know what?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a
Ooh, that's a good
whole.
one.
Ooh,
That's a good
yeah.
I never
I
actually
never-
played that.
I never played it, but I was always aware of it. That's one of those. One
I
of those
I
games.
played it off
Just-
and
just-
on, but I never got super into it. But
Mhm.
TF2 was dope.
It's an old ass game, but play it at least once, and then play the actual game modes at least once, and then immediately go over to the mods because the mods are godlike.
Wasn't Team Fortress 2 like the
That was another
inspiration for the
huge-
team-based shooter type of thing,
Yeah.
objective-based shooter genre?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the start.
Like when Overwatch comes out, everyone's just like, "This is just TF2, but Blizzard."
Honestly,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
What else is there? I mean, puzzle shooters. We could talk Portal.
Puzzles.
Portal.
Oh yeah,
Portal.
Portal. Yeah.
Holy
Portal's
crap!
good.
Portal had such a cult class.
I never played,
Following
so I
you.
didn't own the orange box on Xbox 360, but
Damn.
I think I ended up playing Portal 1 on a computer. I didn't. Play
I
it
did
on-
too as well.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that it was a hidden gem until it started becoming super popular.
The cake
Then
is
Portal
a lie
2
was said so fucking much when I was in high school, dude. It was so
Yeah, the cake is
so overplayed.
so overplayed. And then Portal 2 came out and had such a
Portal
hype
2 was
following. And
godlike.
honestly, Portal 2 was, and I'm probably gonna get booze on this, but I think in my opinion, Portal 2 is a perfect sequel.
It was.
It really was a perfect. It delivered on
Yeah,
everything it
that's-
needed
I
to as
remember
a
at the
sequel.
lock-ins at our school, Javi, there were people that would play through the Portal 2 co-op mode in like a couple hours.
No, that was me.
Yeah. It was like
Yeah.
That was literally me doing that.
yeah, it was you and some other people. You guys would just play through Portal 2 every lock-in.
It was specifically me and my friend Miranda,
Mm-hmm.
and we sat here and did the whole co-op together, and then like we were just real happy about it, and then we tried doing the DLC stuff, and we did that all in one night.
Well, because the co-op wasn't as long as the single player story. The single player story actually had a good couple hours of content to it.
The co-op is just as difficult.
No, I'm not saying difficult. I'm not saying difficult. I'm saying lengthwise.
No,
There's-
it was longer because it was just as difficult. It was just as difficult because it was. I mean, it was just as long because it was just as difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well done.
That's still awesome. I still hope that we get a Portal 3 one day.
We all do.
Is
get
it
a
gonna
spin-off
happen?
movie?
Probably not.
Dude, if they can make a Portal but make it in first person, that would be like a Portal in VR, dude. Could you imagine?
Yo,
that?
that'd be trippy. Oh my
I
god.
I feel like that could be possible if you just work some Oculus Rift finesse.
Yeah, I could see them
Honestly.
doing it.
Yeah. I'd play the crap out of it. I'd probably get motion sick though.
Yeah,
like
a
just
lot
the
of
way the
people would get
game.
sick out of
Oh
it.
my
Could you
god.
imagine making one of those like those
Well-
tunnels that go from the floor to the ceiling and you jump down
But
in
I-
VR?
Here's my thing.
Disgusting.
I don't know how possible that is because there's some parts that require like you'd have to base the level design on the fact that it's VR. Because you can't have super tight 180 turns a lot of the time without people like making themselves dizzy and tripping and health hazards. So
Yeah, it'd
if
be
you're gonna
crazy.
do it, you couldn't make like a Portal 3 then throw it onto VR. It'd have to be a VR Portal.
I could see them figure something out. It'd be clean.
Valve don't make threes. Yeah, you right.
Oh.
You right. Valve don't make.
My bad. I just I just remembered. We can't we said TF2.
Yeah.
We didn't
Yeah.
say Galaga, but we missed one. And
What?
this is actually, I think, the first shooter I've ever played.
Okay.
I'll give you all one guess.
First shooter you ever played? Give me a system. Or does that give it away?
Name the first shooter with an actual gun that ever existed.
Oh
Duck
my
Hunt.
god, NES Duck Hunt.
The fucking Duck Hunt
Duck
is
Hunt.
actually,
Oh, Is the
actually
first shooter?
first shooter I'm pretty sure I've ever played. And I just thought about that. Like on the actual NES.
Oh my
With the
god,
blaster and
Duck
everything?
Hunt.
Yeah,
Ah.
I had the my friend had the Zapper, the
My
Nintendo
grandparents-
Zapper. I have one over in my room. I have one on the other side. I'm looking at it right now.
My grandparents have an NES that actually to this day still works
Yep.
because they don't ever play it. It's only played when I'm there, and it has
My-
Duck Hunt. And oh
Mine works, and I have the Mario and Duck Hunt combo.
wow, Duck
And
Hunt is
then-
the original shooter game.
Original
pretty
first-person
sure.
shooter.
I'm pretty
Wow.
sure. I don't think
Wait,
there's
no, but
anything
time
else
out. Was it that technology that launched arcade shooters?
No, it was arcades were
No.
before that.
Arcade,
Yeah, arcade
were
shooters.
long
That was just
before
like
Okay, that's
light
what I thought.
gun. That was light gun shooters in your house though.
So that was the first in-home console
I think
shooter
so,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, Duck
Uh,
Hunt. Holy crap.
Yeah. None of us have experience with Doom though, but I know Doom is really big too.
Yeah,
I-
Doom was
I
PC, though.
played Doom over at my neighbor's house.
I didn't play Doom as a.
The original
Okay.
Doom.
I feel like Doom would also give my little bitch ass.
Quake. Quake also counts.
Oh, dude!
I
remember
only
everyone
played
having
Quake
Quake.
Eternal Champions or Tournament or whatever.
Oh,
Unreal
Tournament
Tournament.
Champion-
Unreal Tournament. Yeah.
The real tournament was wild.
Dude, I remember
Yeah.
so many people in the computer club at our high school having Unreal Tournament on their flash drives, and they could just put it onto the computers and we would just play LAN games.
Oh my god.
Well, I meant to say that earlier. Halo was on every single computer at our school.
Yeah. Same.
Oh,
Same.
because they just installed it on there.
Yeah, Halo.
Yeah, 'cause
like
kids just
people
installed it.
did exactly that. They would just install it. Like people
Yeah.
had LAN parties and played Halo.
Huh.
Yep.
I think both
We
Halo
actually-
and League were on all the computer lab
Yep.
computers. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. God, League's been going on for so long, but that's for another retro rant. Well, guys, I think this was a great first episode. We talked about the shooters that made us today, and all the things that kind of brought up our childhood. Does anyone else have anything else they want to say?
The best shooter to ever come out is Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash.
Tell them.
LMAO.
Yes.
Uh,
Tell them. I'll be my
please,
video. Tell them.
please purchase that game. Please.
Oh
Even
my
the freaking
god.
voice actor for the girl in the pink hair, the pink hair girl, she was just like, "Yeah, I have that game," and yeah, it's a
Bullet
banger.
Girls. Yeah.
It's really fun.
Well, then I'm going to say thank you everyone for joining me today on the first ever episode of Retro Rant. We are going to be trying to do this twice a month, so we will hopefully see you on another episode in 2 weeks with a new topic, a new genre to talk about, and new guests. And thank you guys so much for joining. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Peace out.